Sounds of Futures Past, Media Archaeology and Design Fiction as NIME Methodologies. I am the principal author, and the co-authors are Henrik Frisk of the Royal College of Music, KMH, and André Holzapfel from KTH. Sounds of Futures Past is part of an ongoing research project into reenacting historic sound synthesis instruments from the history of electronic music in Sweden during the 1960s and 70s. These instruments are archived at the Electronic Instrument Collection of the Swedish Museum of Performing Arts. Our first task is to analyze the instruments. Organologies of traditional instruments often consist of hierarchical categories based on their technical means of sound causation. This taxonomy is less useful for electronically generated sounds. The speculative organology proposed by Tresch and Dolan is based on the ethics of both scientific and musical instruments analyzed through several categories. These categories include an instrument's material parts, the way in which it mediates its own use, the relationship it has with social and institutional structures, and the ends to which the instrument is directed. Examining the affordances of an instrument can give insights of its ethics, with affordances defined as the various possibilities an object suggests or offers to its users. This in turn suggests that an instrument possesses agency of its own, following discussions within the discourses of actor network theory, science and technology studies, and social construction of technology. We can only ever imagine the future through the lens of the present. Methods of media archaeology use the past to help us understand the present by excavating forgotten media artifacts and proposing genealogies for discarded and obsolete technologies. Similarly, design fiction uses the familiar to help us imagine the unfamiliar by conceiving future technologies unconstrained by present material realities. Often, the design fictions of the past are the media archaeologies of the future. Our first object of study was the Dataton System 3000, designed by Björn Sandlund in the 1970s and intended to be used in every Swedish music school. Its unique tiled form factor encourages the creation of complex matrix structures and non-traditional musical expression. The Dataton features a selection of interconnectable modules to generate, manipulate, and edit electronic sounds. We developed and tested our methodology through a workshop with young electronic composers. The goals of this workshop were to investigate the user experiences of a historic electronic sound instrument, to use the instrument as the starting point for new design fictions, to compare utopian ideas of instrument design from the 1970s with those of the present day, and to experiment with methods of media archaeology and design fiction for use in future workshops. By the end of the workshop, we had performed an analysis of the ethics and affordances of the Dataton System 3000, recorded a series of solo and collaborative compositions using sounds from the instrument, and drafted 5 speculative designs for future sound instruments inspired by the Dataton. A survey of the design fictions created by the participants revealed a number of technologies and affordances involved. Overwhelmingly, the participants envisioned instruments which were accessible to a wide range of users, allowed sharing within a community, were portable, immediately ready to produce sound, scalable in their level of complexity, and which provided physical control over programmable digital signal processing. In summary, our methodology in progress focuses on examination of the ethics and affordances of instruments from the past, and speculation about how these ethics and affordances might be realized in the future. Our methods are applied to examples from the history of electronic music in Sweden. Our long-term goal is to create new historically informed sound synthesis instruments. We hypothesize that reenactments of these historic ethics and affordances will be more relevant to contemporary composers than period-correct technical reconstructions. 2 candidates for future study are Archaeology's Andromatic sequencer and the Ludar portable sound generators created by Ralph Lundsten and Leo Nilsson. Because these instruments are archived under museum conditions, the reenactment of their affordances and ethics is key to preserving their sonic legacy. I thank you for your kind attention.